This is the Beef Podcast, presented by Beefy Marketing in partnership with Community Bank of Texas, an FDIC member and equal housing lender.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Beef Podcast. I'm your host, John Kelly, a.k.a. John the Marketer on Instagram. Of course, we've got TikTok, we've got YouTube, all kinds of social channels you can follow us on. So if you're not getting the information you want, you're not looking for it, I promise. Joining me in the studio today, I have Lance with Next Step Financial Transitions and a very special co-host, Video John Fritzsching. John, welcome to the show. Lance, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, John.
Man, I'm excited to have both of y'all here because we've never done a co-host on this podcast before. This is a first for us. So, John has been around. I think right around the same time I actually came on board with Beefy.
Yeah.
But of course we've been friends in high school and we've known each other, probably more than 20 years now.
At least.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, it was just natural to have him in here as a co-host today because we're taking up his video studio. We got a lot of changes happening here at Beefy. And I had to take his video studio for this little hour here. And I was like, dude, if you're going to be sitting in here anyway, you might as well just join us.
Might as well, right?
And of course, you're on a podcast.
I am.
Y'all have
called
Business Growth Hacks.
Business Growth Hacks.
That's right. So it's not like it's your first time to do this. You're well versed in it. Lance, this was like the meeting that was never meant to happen. Man, I think we've tried to do this 3 separate times now, and every single time something has popped up. But we're here today.
Yeah, my favorite one was the storm that didn't come.
Yeah, we did. We were like, man, there's no way it's going to be safe for you to drive. I mean, it's the apocalypse. This is the end of the world. Let's just call it off. And then the next day we're sitting around like, oh, well,
yeah,
cool.
Inch of rain.
I think I remember that storm. Yeah. It was like all this big hype about it, and then it sprinkled for an hour, maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was nothing.
Yeah, I had sandbags prepared, man.
Oh, we were all prepared. Yeah.
My rain gauge, I didn't have to dump it out.
I know. It was sad, but it doesn't matter. We're here now, so that's all that matters. And we've got icebreaker questions to go over.
Sure.
So our question today, I have 2 of them, so I think we're going to do both of them because I like them both.
Let's do it.
These are very serious topics. This is, really serious, like more than anything we have going on right now.
Because here on the Beef, we want to make sure we dive in to the stories and tell the real scoop.
So
yeah, you see what I did there?
I love it. We need to know, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
The easy one to choose is vanilla because it goes with everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a Bluebell guy, and they recently rolled out the combo of 2 of my top 5. So what is it? The Texas 2-step where you've got both the chocolate chip cookie dough and the cookies and cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That for me hits 2 of the top 5. And I can buy that and my boys will eat it too. So it's right there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta love that Bluebell. I'm a homemade vanilla guy myself because you can put whatever you want in it.
Yep.
But the chocolate lovers is kind of one of those 2-step concepts where it's chocolate with brownie pieces and real Rocky Road pieces. I like chocolate lovers too.
Oh, that's my wife's number 1.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've had that one yet.
Oh man, it's kind of seasonal, I think. It should be coming out in February, I think.
Gotcha. I'm an old school guy too, but it's a little different old school. It's not like the original, just homemade vanilla. I'm mint chocolate chip all the way.
Yeah.
And there's a reason, that was my dad's favorite flavor.
Of course.
So as a kid, what do our kids do whenever we bust out the ice cream? I want to bite.
Mm-hmm.
And my boys do it to me. Heck, even my daughter does. But I did that to my dad all the time. So that was his like nightly routine. He'd sit down with a pint of mint chocolate chip ice cream and eat the whole pint right there. And then of course I was helping him.
Yeah.
So it's a little sentimental for me.
Yeah. My dad would fill a bowl with Oreos and then take homemade vanilla, cover it.
Yes.
And then add other stuff on top of that.
I love doing that. Yeah. And vanilla is really good for that because you can add whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what blows a lot of people's mind, which is weird to me, is peanut butter. I like to throw a scoop of peanut butter in there and mix it up.
Okay. I can see it. I've never done it. I support it.
Oh, man. It comes out so good. I'm a huge peanut butter fan, though.
I got you, yeah.
So for me, just throw a scoop in there.
Adding some chocolate, you kind of got a Reese's ice cream thing going on there.
There you go.
Can't go wrong with that.
No, it sounds great. And the other one, because this is an important one too, is what is your favorite topping for pizza, or what are your favorite toppings?
I keep it simple. I go with pepperoni.
Yeah.
I love a Supreme. I love a Meat Lovers, but if I've got to choose one, I go with pepperoni because it's tried and true. Same thing if we're thinking back to kids. It's really easy for them to pick it off.
Yeah.
And then they have a
Why do
cheese
they do
pizza.
that?
I
There you
know.
go.
Every kid.
And then I have an extra pepperoni piece.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah, it's frustrating, and I found a solution.
it's like every kid takes the pepperonis off of the pizza, and I'm like, that's the
Yeah.
best part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're ruining the pizza right now.
Yep.
Who wants a cheese pizza?
Kids.
Yeah, kids, I guess. But some adults too.
Yeah, we just call it cheesy bread, and it's an appetizer.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
I know.
It's funny that y'all matched your answers, so I cheated, and
Yeah.
I told Video John, exactly what I was going to ask before we got started, because I was kind of going between these two, and I said I don't know which one I want to go with, and he was like, "Man, honestly, I'm pretty old school and just plain, man. I like pepperonis on my pizza, and I like homemade vanilla Bluebell." And I was like, "Wow, I can respect it." And then you
Yeah.
came in, you said the same thing.
So what a perfect day for me to co-host on this.
I know,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
No, for me though, it's Meat Lovers all day long.
Yeah.
If I can't have, if I don't have a choice, if that's all I could ever have for the rest of my life, it'd be a Meat Lovers pizza. I like all those meats on there.
Well,
everything
You got the pick it off option there. You can pick off what you
That's
don't
true.
want. You get the Supreme. You got
except
it
those
all.
little bacon bits I like to get on there.
Yeah.
Those would be
Of course,
hard.
on the Supreme though, you still get some of that olive flavor on the.
That's what I don't like.
You can't pick it off.
I'm not a Supreme fan. Yeah, I don't like the olives,
I'm not an olive fan myself.
but I do love jalapenos. on
Oh
my
yeah.
pizza.
Oh yeah.
So
I'll do that. Yeah, I think Mod Pizza. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Subway for pizzas,
Uh-huh.
and that place has been so cool because you can go in with your whole family and everybody can get the exact pizza they want instead of having to order 5 large pizzas and
Yep.
whatever. It's pretty cool. I like that place.
yeah, no, Mod is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah,
but
definitely frequent there as office trip.
the past guest that we had on the show, Bonfire, they have a brick
Yes.
oven
Oh,
inside
his
of their
pizza is
Oh
awesome.
my God, yeah. I had some of those at Tomball Fire Department. We had a firefighter pass away recently,
Yeah.
and I called up, of course, a bunch of my friends that own businesses in Tomball, and I said, "Hey, look, I can pay. I've got money. That's not what I'm asking for. I just need to feed like 12 people,
Yeah.
and I've got a couple $100 that I'm trying to make last for 48 hours. So can you just
Right.
help me out?" And Bonfire Man, he was like, "Dude, just come pick up food. Can I do pizzas?" And I was like, "Yeah, you can do pizzas. I'm not picky. You
Yeah.
just tell me." And he was like, "I'm not charging you for it. Just come pick it up." And I was like, "Wow, okay." So
Thank you. Yeah.
I showed up, and that was the first time I had their pizza, and it was
Oh wow.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we haven't made it over there yet. I've wanted to go by and do the food because we've been there for a happy hour.
Right.
And I saw the brick oven and was
Yeah.
trying to figure out what all they had in there. We just haven't made it over yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and he moved that brick oven over. So there's a story behind it. You have to listen to the podcast to find that
Right,
out. But there's a story behind it. And so that makes it even cooler. But then the pizza really is top notch.
Yeah, it is.
It is absolutely phenomenal.
And you mentioned happy hour over there, and it's if you're not sure if you want to eat something over there at Bonfire, definitely stop in for happy hour. Check out
Yes.
that because he's got some amazing drinks and
Oh,
some
yeah.
stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, and there's one that's off the menu you have to try. One of our listeners,
Ooh.
one of the chamber, he was a board member. I think he recently is no longer a board member. I'm not positive on that part of it. He was ambassador of the year for last
Okay.
year. Raymond Francois.
Okay.
Awesome dude. He's got a drink there called the Showman.
Okay.
And it's like his own little special concoction that he loves, and that thing is amazing. So
go in
you have to
and
get it.
order
It
a
is a
Showman.
pink drink.
okay.
True to Raymond's style, it will be served in a big like champagne glass looking, not champagne glass, but like a wine glass looking thing.
Okay.
So I just always say like, bring it to me in a whiskey glass. But
Yeah.
I also order the double of that, which is pretty big, and it is a phenomenal drink.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
and it definitely like it personifies Raymond, just a showman. He is always dressed well, like dressed to the nines.
Yep.
The dude he's an amazing guy, but he absolutely 100% goes all out. So the showman, it just kind of fits him.
Good to know. I'll have to try that out.
Oh, it's a great drink, man. But I know we've gone way far into this already. So we have to stop and take a second to talk about our awesome sponsor, Community Bank of Texas. They've been with us since the beginning of this podcast. We recorded like 6 episodes, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, hey, we're doing the sponsorship for you. So we had to go back and create new intros for it, pre-record an ad and throw that in there. And then now we're finally to a point where I can just stop and talk about Community Bank of Texas during the podcast because we don't have those 6 or 7 episodes recorded already. So Community Bank of Texas, they know that, especially now, the experience and availability of your banking partner is crucial. And they're here to help your business. Their bankers have been working diligently to give the clients the support that they need during these challenging economic times. And as a business owner, there's a lot of things that keep us up at night, but our bank shouldn't be one of them. And when you bank with Community Bank of Texas, you have the freedom to focus on your business commitments instead of worrying about the commitment of your banker. Community Bank of Texas is proudly committed to partnering with you and your business through it all. Short-term hurdles, long-term growth, countless new directions, because when it comes to doing business, they simply deliver a better banking experience. Community Bank of Texas is a foundation you can build your business on for decades to come. Community Bank of Texas is business banking, better banking, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. But the reason we're here, the reason that Community Bank sponsors us, Lance, we want to hear all about the business, all about you and where you came from. So just kind of tell us about you, man.
Sure. So I grew up in a small town west of San Antonio, Uvalde, Texas. So most people don't know Uvalde, they know Concan. It's where everybody goes to float. And then went to college up at Texas Tech, and that's where I actually met my fabulous wife, Tessa. We were in the financial planning program together there, and that is a really small, almost unknown program. So it was like a small town within Lubbock, which is pretty small itself. So we had every class together once we started dating, so we really got to know each other. Joked about the idea of starting a firm, Elrod and Elrod or something, when we were in college. But it was more of just a kind of a joke. Graduated right at the end of the financial crisis, so of course there were no jobs. That got us all the way up to Maryland because that was the only place that we could find any type of employment, and really got to dive into financial planning there. As we got up there, we realized family was more important than we already thought it was. So we spent most of our time up there trying to get back home to Texas. We're up there for about 3 years, came back to Houston, and then working for smaller firms for a while. And during that time, I took a brief stint to work for Halliburton because when you move to Houston, you got to check out oil and gas.
Oh, yeah.
I really found out that was not for me. I am not good at being home 2 weeks and then being gone 2 weeks.
Right.
Especially because we had just bought our first house. Tessa had just gotten pregnant with our first. So you're starting a family, but you're gone half the year. It wasn't meshing well there. And it really helped me kind of reset, really find that where my passion was helping people really navigate all the complexities that financial planning can bring. And through some of that process, we had some people that kind of came along, Tessa and I, and really encouraged us, why aren't you guys doing this together? Because we were with, 2 smaller firms, 2 independent firms, and essentially working against each other.
Right.
Because, yes, Houston is massive, but we're both up here on the northwest side, sort of going after the same market. We had to have hypothetical conversations about clients. What if somebody had this and this? What do you think you would possibly do? And people are just saying, why aren't you guys really pursuing this together? Really encouraging us, giving us kind of some guidance, some things to think about. And so we really dove into looking at that, thought about it for a long time, prayed about it for a long time. And we've learned in the past, if God is telling you to do something and is opening a door, you better go down that path.
Yep.
Or he's going to keep hitting you in the face with it. We've walked that before. We were really pushing against something in Maryland. We're not supposed to be here. We're trying to get back home. And by the time we actually accepted the fact that we were in Maryland and got comfortable, it was like, okay, y'all are ready to move back home. So we really learned to trust in what he had for us and really dove headfirst into starting Next Step Financial Transitions. The reason that we really wanted to do our own thing was not just to work together. because we found that we can do that well and not kill each other.
Which is rare.
Yeah. But also, we've tried to go a little bit of a different direction. Most advisors go the traditional route, which is, you manage somebody's finances. You're working with people who have assets to manage, which means you're generally working with those who are a little closer to retirement. But that led to a lot of younger people who were in our age range or our situation, not getting much in the way of advice unless you were the child of a client, because most advisors couldn't really get compensated for that work. But if you're early on, you're buying your home, you're having kids, you're having job changes, that's when a lot of guidance is needed. A lot of things are happening, a lot of things that have an impact 30 years down the road are going on right now. So, our big question was, how do we find a way to help those people in that time get that advice when they need it most?
No, that's fair. I mean, I know personally, if I would have had a financial planner or advisor way back then when I was 18 years old, I probably would have kept myself out of a lot of dumb positions that I was in because it's so natural. You get there, you're an adult now, and it's like, well, I can have cookies for dinner. So
I
you
can
have
do
cookies for dinner.
whatever I want.
Yeah. And then all of a
Sure.
sudden, like me now, 15 years later or so, all of a sudden you're like, man, I really put myself in a bad spot. And you're right. I mean, this is now probably my third financial style podcast where I've had other companies on. They're kind of different. They do things, they're not exactly what you are. They do, yes, they may handle part of that, but like one specifically is all about retirement, in your golden years. And so it's a little different. And that's always the question that pops up is it feels like when you're 18 years old and you're living paycheck to paycheck, making $800 a week, it's like, what do I need to go to a financial advisor for?
Yeah.
Well, hell, you probably need a financial advisor more than anybody. How are you going to live paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
And then I always kind of assumed in my mind that it's just one of those things where if I don't have $1 million, then why am I going to talk to somebody?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I probably could have used it.
Point.
Yeah. I probably could have used advice when I sold my house and cashed out on over $100,000 in equity and paid off a vehicle. And we got a little bit of that because of course we had to buy a new house. So, our financial advisor there who was advising us to get approved for the loan also had a lot of really good advice to give outside of that hey, this is what you need to do to qualify.
Yeah.
But it's going to make more sense for you in the long run to not have that car note anymore and to not have, this debt and to save up this much. And we had some of that. But what is it that you're doing different that would attract someone like that in then?
So when we think about financial planning, we want to look at stuff comprehensively. So we're both certified financial planners, my wife and I, which means we don't think of financial planning as a cookie cutter process. We also don't think of it just as investment management. So we look at the whole gamut, whether it's college planning for those who have kids or how to pay off the loans that you now have. I was one who graduated with lots of student loans.
Right.
And that's a big thing when you're trying to start life, is getting that paid off. We also look at risk management, which is, everything associated with insurance. It's not just life insurance, it's health insurance, homeowners, long-term care, all that, making sure you got the right stuff in place or recommending what you need. We do handle investments if our clients want us to, but we don't require it. We work with a lot of people who are DIYers. So they enjoy the investing piece or want to do it themselves. We will kind of give some overarching guidance on, hey, if you're wanting to do diversification, here's kind of how to position it, but we're not going to help you handpick everything.
Right.
And then estate planning is one that really comes into play for everybody. And it's really one of the last ones that we find all of our clients tackle. And I think society in general, because nobody wants to think about their own mortality.
You're right.
But, if anything ever happens to you, that one is crucial to have. And it's not just for, people with a massive estate who need trusts and, an estate plan, an estate attorney, things like that. Yes, that is necessary. But most people don't realize that once you are past the age of 18, nobody else can do anything for you.
Right.
So your parents have no say anymore. I mean, we've seen a couple of case examples where people were in their early 20s, had a major accident, were in the hospital, in a coma, and the parents didn't have any type of power of attorney on them. So nobody could pay bills for them. Nobody could, help make any medical decisions that the doctors were trying to go through. And so that's why estate planning is also really important for everybody. Because when those worst case things happen that you never plan on happening, you want somebody to be able to take care of things, to pay your bill, your light bill, your water bill, cell phone bill, whatever. And also to be able, if you can't talk to the doctor, to say this is what he wanted, or let's go this route or this route when you're in those critical stages. So we try and hit everything financial planning wise for our clients. And we had somebody in yesterday who said, she came to us and said, I kind of put this meeting off because I'm really trying to pay off my house and I don't want somebody to tell me not to be putting $5,000 onto my house every month. And we kind of laughed and we said, that is not, our job is to listen to you, figure out what it is that you're wanting to do, and then we build out our recommendations around that. If your goal is paying off that house as soon as possible, we know that. And so we're going to build your plan around that. We may educate you on what the pros and cons are.
Right.
Because we believe wholeheartedly in education. We want our clients to feel like they're the ones making the decisions, not us telling them what to do. So in that case, it's, hey, if that's really what you want to do, we're going to build everything else around that. And then once that house is paid off, well, now you've got $5,000 a month to do whatever else you want with it, whether that's saving and investments, whether that's saving for, their daughter's college, whether that's getting ready for the next vehicle they know they need, whatever that is, we're going to build the plan around that instead of telling you, no, don't pay off the house. You've only got, 3.5% mortgage, pay the minimum, and then put the rest of it everywhere else. If that's what you really want to do, that's what we're tackling. So we really try and understand our clients, go with what they want, and build a plan around that.
I got you. So how does pay for things like that work? Where do you collect money from?
Sure. That is a good question. So in our industry, there are 3 ways that advisors typically get paid. The first is commissions. You sell the product, whether it's life insurance, long-term care, some REITs, real estate investment trusts. Those come with a commission, so they get paid up front, something 5, 6, 7% off the top up front, and then, no payment after that. There is assets under management, which is what most of the industry has done. It's very simple to understand. I give you a bucket of investments, $500,000. You charge a percent on that. We've found most advisors start, 1.25%, 1%, something like that. So on a $500,000 investment, you're getting paid $5,000 a year. It's really simple. It's really easy math. Clients understand that.
Right.
Half the time you don't have to worry about it because it automatically comes out. And the third way is a flat fee. So, they say, I'll do X for you and it's going to be $5,000 a year, rather than from the investments, it's just, hey, here's my flat amount. Where we're a little bit different is we don't do commissions at all. We feel that gives our clients the best avoidance of a conflict of interest. You're never having to worry about, if we're advising you to get X amount in life insurance, it's not because it's affecting our bottom line in any way. And if we're recommending any type of product, you don't ever have to question, well, why product A instead of product B? There is no kickback for us. We're really telling you, you need this because you really need it. And so we chose to kind of marry the assets under management and the flat fee so that our clients, one, knew they were getting financial planning first and foremost. So when our clients come to us, we do a monthly subscription, kind of like a gym membership. So it starts out at $150 a month, and that covers, everything that we talked about earlier, all the facets of financial planning, because we wanted our clients to know, hey, I'm paying for financial planning, so that's what I'm going to get. And I told you we work with a lot of DIYers, so we don't require that investing, and that also helps us avoid any type of investment minimums. It doesn't matter whether somebody has $1 million to invest or is just trying to get started and has zero, that monthly financial planning fee covers all of that. If somebody says, I do want somebody to handle the investment for me, I don't want to wade into that water, that's where the asset under management piece comes in for us. We say, okay, we can help do that all for you. We charge a reduced rate on that then of about 0.5%.
Wow.
So when you add the two together, it's around kind of what you see most advisors paying, but that allows us to get to that segment of people who may have everything tied up in a 401k, so nobody else can manage it, or they're trying to get student loans paid off, so they're not ready to invest yet, and they're trying to figure out, well, how do I navigate that plus buying a home? That way you don't have to have those investments. We don't have to charge on that. It's just, hey, financial planning. If you want somebody to do the investing for you, great. If you want to do it yourself, that's totally cool too, and we can kind of help tie the two together.
Okay.
Yeah. It seems like you're more tailoring to what the client wants to do rather than just having a blanket approach, which is really kind of nice, because for people that do have money tied up in other things, or the lady that wants to pay off her house but doesn't want to get told don't do that, y'all aren't gonna tell her that. That's really cool that you listen, you hear what they need, and you meet those needs, because that's financially what people really need.
Yeah,
is to have their needs met.
Yeah, that's why that is our main offering. We also have a separate one that is just a straight one-time plan. We explain financial planning kind of as a roadmap. We always know where we're at now. It's our starting point. We try and help our clients figure out where we're getting to, whether that's paying off that house, retirement. Everybody wants to retire, but we help them figure out what it's going to look like, because it's never the same for anybody.
Yeah.
We found a lot of people that are younger are going the route of, I want to turn things down at 55. Maybe I don't want to retire fully, but I want to slow down and do something different, or do what I want to do at 55. And so we have offered a one-time plan. So that is called Just the Map. So we help our clients build out that roadmap, know where we are, we know where we're getting to. Our job is to listen to you to try and figure out the route we're taking. And then if people want just the map, just the plan, we go through the entire process with them, build out that map, and go, okay, here's your financial plan for you to do with what you want. We're going to have all these recommendations, but it's going to be up to you to kind of implement everything. The people that do the ongoing planning with us, we call it the roadmap with GPS, because life is never straightforward.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that title.
We're there to help course correct along the way, and we're also there to help implement these action items, to be the annoying prod sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey, did those estate documents get done? Because
so I need stuff like that sometimes. Like, hey, I don't like doing paperwork, and so I need to be poked. Hey, did you do this?
And I'm like a child too.
Yeah,
so you can give me that map and tell me, hey, this is what you need to do to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a squirrel off in a trail, and I'm going to take that trail.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get lost in that trail, and then be like, all right, Lance, what do I do to get back? Because I didn't listen.
Right. And that's what I was thinking too. If they sign on with you for that one time, would there be the option of adding GPS, I guess, so to speak?
Yeah, we have offered that. So we are relatively new, and we've been doing this since January of whatever last year was, 2021.
That's it.
Owning your own company.
Yes.
You've been in the business, with
business.
school and everything else for years, but
Yes.
this is your first time out on your own.
Yep. Yeah, we've been doing Next Step Financial Transition since January 2021. Pick the great year to start in of COVID.
Oh, yeah. It's a year to find out what you're made of there.
But we have offered that to the people who've taken us up on the one-time plan is, hey, if you found that, for whatever reason, things aren't getting done, or you get a year or two into this and realize that it's too much to handle, or you want a checkup, you can always come back. You can add on the ongoing planning. We can do another one-time plan if it's been a while. It really, like you were saying earlier, it's really up to what they want.
Right. I was just kind of wondering, because it seems someone like myself, I might want to have all the control at first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then as time goes along, as I realize what I'm doing or don't know what I'm doing, I might, or need that poke, I was just wondering for anybody out there if they might be interested in that, if you offered that.
Yeah, we've had a couple of people who were newlyweds who've gone with that package because they're trying to get life figured out
they're
together.
Adjusting, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they're wanting to kind of get a plan of attack moving forward. And we go through some of the psychological things on, okay, how do you guys need to work together?
Yeah, that's big. Because even just getting a little off topic, going into the marriage thing, money can be a big stressor on that. And one thing I know I did not do with my wife is, how are we going to handle my money versus your money? Or are we going to throw them together or what? There was no real conversation, just kind of started paying bills, and it, naturally, progressed to what it is now. And now there's a plan, but at first there wasn't one. And I wouldn't even have thought, especially younger, that I needed a plan.
Yeah.
What do I need that for? I'm probably not going to live past 25.
Yeah. Well, I'm still shocked on that one. For
I
both
made
of
it.
us.
Yeah. So it's funny. I would say to the younger viewers out there today that take some advice from this, from some older guys who maybe made some financial mistakes here or there.
Yeah.
And you got to have a plan. Even if you don't know what to do, that roadmap that you're talking about sounds like it kind of gives you, especially for an 18-year-old, that sounds like a great setup, because here's a plan for you. And then if with the option to come back, a few years down the road, I've made some money, I would like to invest now, I think that's a great concept.
Have you always been good with numbers, Lance?
Yeah.
So even as a kid, I say a kid, 18 years old, growing up, you never had like that moment where you were like, I was an idiot.
No, there have definitely been idiotic moments.
See, he's just smarter than us, so his dumb moments were smarter than ours. Yeah.
Just the way my head is wired, it's not like my parents tried to get me involved with what they had going on. I mean, most parents don't want their kids to know what's going on financially. I'm very observant, so I picked up on what was going on. So I was talking about money minds a little bit. We go through a money mind exercise with all of our clients, and that's kind of how we help those younger couples learn to talk to each other. Mine is a fear money mind. So I'm always worried about never having enough.
I got you.
You can call it a penny pincher.
Frugal.
Yeah.
So that's me to a T, and part of that's just from, watching my parents growing up, being observant that way. And that's kind of led me to where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, I was good with numbers growing up, which is why I thought that I was going to be an engineer. I mean, that was my first major when I went to tech. And then that didn't really work out because I was not going to do well in physics. So I was like, numbers make sense. Let's go to accounting. And it was very apparent, like in the first semester, that accounting was definitely not for me.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
Yeah. I've taken accounting classes because I'm one of those that I've got a bunch of student loan debt and no degree yet. I've got like 90 something college hours, and I'm so close. But I've run out of financial aid. Apparently, there's a max on how much you can take out in loans. I found that out. So now I'm like, all right, well, plan B. I got to figure out the rest of my way through college, so I don't have to pay these back yet. Unfortunately, for a degree that I don't necessarily need, it's good information to have, especially on the marketing end. Having done marketing, I'm sitting there in class and I'm like, wow, now I really do truly understand why we do it that way.
Right.
I knew the street marketing tactics and why we do it this way, but I didn't know the theoretical. I didn't know the psychological. This is
why we do that. Yeah.
So I definitely, I've kind of forgot where I was going with that, honestly, but I've got all of that behind me now. Yeah. And, I went to that accounting class. That's what we were talking about, accounting.
That's how we got there.
And in that business school, of course, accounting is important for your business degree. And I just found out that there's a reason I want to pay a CPA. And there's a reason I want to pay somebody to do that, because it's not fun. Journal entries and just, little things like credits and debits. It's not what you think. It's not debiting out of your checking account to pay somebody. No, a debit is putting money in. And I'm like, no, that's a credit. It's like, no, that's a debit. And then you have to list those a certain way, and you have journal entries, and then, oh man, it drove me nuts. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, but my wife, on the other hand, loves it. She's just at home with it.
That's awesome.
She's a psycho. I'm not great with numbers. It's weird. Sometimes I'll have like my Rain Man moment where
Oh yeah.
I can just come to certain numbers or estimate things out. And, like my dad used to do, he'd walk in a room. He was in the flooring business forever. And so he'd walk in this room and be like, well, it's about 12 foot, 6 inches by 11 foot, 14 and a half, something like that.
He'd be within a quarter inch.
Yeah. And then I throw the tape down and I'm like, why am I here?
Do that? Yeah.
Why am I here and why am I putting a tape on the floor?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
To make sure
Just
I'm
say
right.
what you need. Yeah. And so I have those moments every now and then, but for the most part, mainly when it comes to throwing in like letters into the equation and then telling me
Yeah.
to solve this matrices and all, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Yeah. I think if they could have given me practical examples, like if they would have applied it to audio spectrums
Right.
and how to figure stuff, I would have cared way more about math than I did. Because why am I going to use this? And then, get out, oh, physics is audio. Crap.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I know, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So were you just bored of working? I mean, I know obviously we heard the story about you and the wife and all of this, but were y'all just so bored of working with somebody else, or what really drove you? Was it just wanting to spend more time with her and work with her, or what really drove you to do it yourself?
It made sense. We have a second business that actually got started first. So I told you, if God gives you direction, you better take it. He was telling us that we needed to go the route of helping people through divorce. So our first business is Next Step Divorce Solutions.
Okay.
And so what we do there is help people navigate the divorce process by serving as the financial experts. It's essentially taking financial planning and applying it to the divorce process. So
Right.
we help them figure out what they have, what a fair settlement is going to look like, because it's never 50-50.
Of course.
It's never that easy. And then take the financial planning and essentially tell them, hey, here's what it's going to look like 5, 10, 15 years down the road. That way they have some clarity, some confidence in what they're signing on. So that was kind of our first wade into that entrepreneur / ownership realm. And if we were wanting to stay employed by somebody else, that probably wasn't a good thing, because you get a taste of being your own boss. And for us, I mean, it made a lot of sense. So, hey, we can control our own schedule. Right now, we've got 3 little boys. We got a 4th one on the way. So being able to control your own schedule right now is kind of critical, because I feel like we're at the doctor like once a week.
Yeah.
The little ones. Yeah.
So not having to continually ask off to go to a doctor's appointment or for this or for that made a whole lot of sense. But it was going back to that dream from when we were in college of, hey, what if we had our own firm? Wouldn't that be cool? And just realizing, hey, we started this one. Right now we're kind of working against each other. What if we actually worked for each other, with each other, doing our own thing?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we complement each other really well. I mean, I know that I'm good with numbers, but she's a lot better looking than I am. And so, it brings a good dynamic in, not just her looks, but she counteracts me. So she's got the opposite money mind that I do, which not only works well at home for our own finances, but it works well when we're going through other people's stuff too, because she brings a whole different viewpoint in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it allows me to bounce ideas off of somebody else. We work together really well, and it just made a lot of sense. It was kind of a dream come true that we didn't ever really give much thought to after graduation. It was, that's probably something we can do when we're 50, when we've built up, a book of business or something. We're not really having to worry about a paycheck. And it was those other people that were in our life that were going, hey, why aren't you going this way? One of the guys that my wife worked with was a longtime family friend. He's a deacon in our church, and he's given us lots of guidance on it. I mean, it really gives credence to the kind of guy he was. We told him what we were doing. He was extremely supportive of us. And then even when we were going in to kind of move our furniture out of the office on my wife's last day, he sat down and was giving us life advice. And hey, here's the things to expect in that first year. Here's the things to expect family wise, because I started my own business way back when I had little kids. Here's things to look out for. And so we've just, not only has it been a dream for us, but we've also had massive guidance along the way.
You still have the mentorship of one of the people that you worked under then.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, he's still there in our church. We just talked to him this last Sunday, asking us how things were going.
That's awesome.
It's been really good. He's been a good example for us to kind of tailor what we're trying to do.
Right.
Because we've seen, one, not just how successful he is at building this and the way he's gone about it, but how he stayed grounded.
Gotcha.
Not only in himself, but in his faith.
Yeah.
And so we're going, that's really what we want to be able to do, is to be able to maintain our faith, bring our faith in with our clients, and just be able to serve people without really letting the numbers take over.
Yeah.
Because I think, when we found when you're a business owner, I mean, you've always got bills, you've always got stuff coming in. It's kind of easy to let people become a number and, we need X amount. This person can give me X, we need 5 more of those guys. We're trying to make sure we don't let that become.
Yeah, because you kind of need a balance of both, because you need the business mind to grow your business.
Yep.
And so you have to look at things a certain way. But then there's the other aspect of it where you are a human and you're dealing with humans and you want to be, human. You want to care for people. And one of the main things I hear, I don't hear you going, yeah, we need all these people so we can get all your money and go invest it and make ourselves a bunch of money. What I hear is, we need you to come to us because you want to do something with your finances and we want to help you do that.
Yep.
That's what I hear.
Well, I mean, that's such a great market. Something you never thought about was for those that are adult enough during a divorce to maintain, a decent relationship. Yeah. That's a very real thing. I mean, my grandmother and my grandfather were extremely wealthy and doing very well. And then their divorce, it just became synonymous. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, born in 88, grew up in the 90s, and it became synonymous that basically divorce equaled financial ruin.
Yep.
And why?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be financial ruin? It's the same thing as saying divorce means the loss of a parent for a kid. Why?
Yeah.
Because if you can make it work together, then you can still get to that point. I mean, and the last thing you ever want is for someone out there in a bad relationship or a bad marriage to think, well, can't get a divorce because I can't afford it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, if that's what you need to be happy as human beings, and the financial part of it's tearing you apart, then please, God, reach out and get help with that. And that's such a great market to be in because there's no reason, if you looked at my grandparents' finances, owning a business together that was extremely, absolutely successful, and then also she was a successful realtor, and my grandpa was a chief deputy of a sheriff's office, and so they were making great money. When he bought my mom a brand new patrol car after he put her through cop school at University of Houston, and my grandma had the new Corvette that came out every year, and they had money, they weren't hurting. And then just to go to that struggling lifestyle and on government assistance and everything else, and it's like, dude, there was something y'all could have done.
Well, I think he hit on it earlier, and the reason why he started that business originally, he said that they go through the plan and show them what it looks like 10, 15 years later. I think that's the biggest thing, is because there's so much emotion around a divorce anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so trying to just wade through that is hard enough. But have a financial planner to say, this is what it looks like for you 10 years from now. This is what you look. There's light at the end of the tunnel, guys. Right. Yes, it's tough right now, but we're going to get somewhere else, and this is where you're both headed. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, there is actually a term they call divorce brain.
Okay.
So when you get into the thick of it, you have that divorce brain. We worked with a coach, I think she said, and I'm going to screw this up for all the people who are really into biology, but it's like you got the reptilian brain back in there that kicks in, and it's the fight or flight. And so that divorce brain sets in. Things don't really make sense. You can't really think clearly. And so, it's trying to bring somebody in. My wife is, and that's why she's great at this, because she can be a calming voice, a calming presence to help people really take some of that emotion out. I mean, the emotion's still going to be there, but it's trying to give you kind of some step back to get some clarity. Because there's been a case that she's had kind of fall apart, and it was some of the emotion came in.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that they couldn't come to an agreement the first time was because they couldn't agree on what to do with a dog.
Yeah.
And you realize, okay, what you're going to spend in attorney's fees, going back to mediation again, the judge's fees,
Yeah, because
and you could buy like 5 of those dogs.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the value of a dog.
Right. It can come
It's
down
strictly
to principle, whether it
Yep.
Right.
yeah,
that's the
needs to
thing.
be or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Got the dog. Well, I didn't really want the dog. It was just about the
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, one of the cats that I own, that's the reason we own it. They had a divorce, and neither one of them could keep the cat.
So
So it wound up at abandoned animal rescue. And
see,
I'm just
yeah.
a big softie sometimes. And
Yeah.
I saw these 2 old cats, and I was like, bro, they have to have a home that loves them, you know? And I've
Yeah.
got 3 kids at the house, so I was like, well, all right, I guess I'm going to go get 2 more cats we don't need. So now I own 4 cats. I'm
Yeah.
becoming the crazy cat guy.
Yep.
Is what's
That's
happening.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, and my wife, she's even worse because she encourages me now. And when we first got together, we were never owning cats in our life. That's what she would have told you. And now she's the one who's like, you better go get those cats. Like I needed encouragement, right?
Save the kitty.
But yeah, no, I mean, it just comes down to that sometimes, that you're not really making a rational thought. You're just doing what you can to spite someone or to win in that scenario or what have you. So I would say that y'all's job is probably half therapist, really. You know, that's how I would view it if I was going in, is like, at least I have somebody I can talk to and knows, you know, because you're right. Growing up, it was the same way for me with my parents, my dad in particular. You don't discuss religion, politics, or money.
Nope.
Those 3 topics are off
Yeah.
limits. And I'm not the same way. I'm a very open person. So I'll tell you my life story. My wife absolutely loves the fact that I'll tell my life story to a stranger, but I have no problem walking in and tell somebody, all right, well, I'm broke, and this
Here's
is what I
why.
need you to do for me today. You know,
Yeah.
figure it out. How can I get rich? I got $500 in investments. You
How
know,
can we turn this into
turn it into 500K, and I'll give you a percent every year. Okay. But you know, I don't have a problem coming out and saying that, but with my parents, it just wasn't something you discussed. And so to have someone that close to you that you trust enough that you're telling those things to, you know, maybe would have helped in that divorce process of, at least there's someone we can talk to that can bring some rationality to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's brilliant for a starter concept. That's awesome.
yeah, it's just something I never would have thought of. That's cool that that's a part of what y'all do.
What I like about it so much is I think that it's such a genuine, you saw a need and filled it, you know, you wanted to help people. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, how can we support you, man? I mean, obviously everybody that comes on the show, the number one way we can support you is show up, give you our money, and be a customer. But you know, what can we do?
Go get you a roadmap with some GPS.
There you
guys.
go.
Right? No lie. What can we do to help you out and be a part of, you know, helping you grow?
Really, our biggest thing is just trying to let people know that we're here. I mean, obviously, starting a new company, that's one of your main goals. Starting it in the middle of COVID was kind of a kick in the pants with the
Strategic
marketing.
decision.
Yeah, that we were planning on. You know, we were going to have a big grand opening, and when you're in the middle of quarantine, you can't really do that. So
Yeah.
part of it's just trying to educate people on what we do, but let them know that we're here. Let them know we can do things a little bit differently. And that's for both companies, you know, whether it's, because like you were saying, a lot of people don't know that there is somebody there that can guide them through the financial side of the divorce process. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of attorneys want to do it themselves, which is cool. There are a few who we partner with who said, you know, I know we can't handle that side, so bringing somebody in. And that's been our biggest thing, is just trying to let people know that we're here. You know, that we're here to help. Education is our main focus, so we're trying to put out little educational videos, you know, once every other week, just on some quick, easy topics. Hey, what's a Roth IRA? What are mutual funds? You know, things like that. So it's just letting people know that we're here.
Gotcha. So how do they find you? Just on social media? Are you on all the channels?
We are, we're on Facebook. I'm pretty sure we're on Instagram. We have somebody for that. So I don't know. I don't have an Instagram. But we're on Facebook, YouTube. We've got a website, nsfinancialtransitions.com. So there's simple ways to find us there.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough for being on the show.
No, I appreciate y'all having me on.
And of course, my co-host, Video John.
No problem.
I'm happy to have him on board as well. So make sure every single week on Thursdays, y'all are checking out our podcast. Sometimes we're going to upload these to YouTube. We've been doing video for quite a few of them now. But of course, you can catch us anywhere that you catch your podcast. Normally, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. We're absolutely everywhere. So make sure you're tuning in every Thursday for that. And then just like Lance here, we are on social media everywhere as well. So if you could support us out there, we would absolutely love to have you as one of our commenters that are, there adding to the story. And of course, if you know somebody that needs to be on the show, please send them our way. We'd love to have them on the podcast. So that's it for me, man. We're going to get out of here. And once again, just thank you all for tuning in.
Appreciate it, guys.
You've been listening to The Beef. Thanks for listening. Make sure to like, rate, and review. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information that you can use. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, follow us on social media. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Beefy Marketing. Would you like your business featured on The Beef? Know a business that should be featured? Visit beefymarketing.com/thebeef. Remember, branding is about a connection with you and your people. Till next time, thanks for listening to The Beef.